Hello everyone, welcome to new video. In this video, I will explain you integrating IBM BAW with SQL database. I will demonstrate with a simple example where we will be having a screen which contain the customer ID as the input. Based upon the customer ID entered in the screen, so we need to do a database call to get the customer detail and we will be populating those details into the screen. So which will be something looks like this. So I have the customer info CHS. So if I run this particular screen, so here we will be having a customer ID. So if I enter some of the customer ID and click on search button, get customer detail. So the what it should happen, it should do a database call and get this detail and show it here. So that is what I'll implement and show you. So let's get started. Okay. So first thing, as part of first step, so I need a client-side human service. For that, I'll click on I'll go to user interface and click on client-side human service. Then I will be name it as customer details CHS. Okay. Okay. Then I created a CHS with the customer detail. So now for this one, I need a coach view. So for that coach view, the coach view should contain customer ID and fetch button and followed by the customer first name, last name, and middle name and address detail. So for that, I need to create a coach view. So if you open the coach here, so we won't be having anything. So we need to create a coach view and we need to add it here. So for that, what I will do, I'll create a new coach view. So with the name customer details CV. So okay, customer details CV is already exists. So I name it as customer info CV. Okay. Now I need to create a CV now with the detail of customer ID and followed by customer detail. So for that, what I will do, so to design a CV, so I'll add a first a panel. Okay. So now I go to configuration. Then in the appearance, I will change it to primary. Okay. So now color is changed to primary color. So now I name it as customer detail. Okay. Then now inside that I will add a horizontal section. So horizontal layout. So inside the horizontal layout, so I need a input text box. So that is nothing but plain text. So plain text. So I name it as customer ID. Okay. So for this customer ID, beside this I need a search button. So for that I'll search with button and I'll add beside this and I make it as in the configuration I make it as color as primary color and name it as get details. Okay. So I will align to the left. So select the horizontal section and go to alignment and left align. Okay. So now based upon the customer ID, I need to get the customer details, right? So for that again, go back to the palette and add a horizontal section below here, below, below to this customer ID. Then I start placing the fields. Okay, that is plain text. Okay, I'll go for a three column approach quickly. And again, I copy this particular section and paste it below. So first one, I name it as first name and the customer middle name last name. Okay. Then so I will be mention like account number and so address. Okay. So this is extra. So I just delete it, not required as of now. So now the CV is ready. So now we need to do a variable mapping. For this variable mapping, I need to create a new variable. So go to business object, add a variable. So I'll name it as customer info, and I'll create a new variable type, which is customer info view. Okay, it's a new business object I create. Okay, so for this one, so I need to add the variable names. So as per the database column names. So quickly I'll shift to the SQL server. Yeah. So here you can see I have a table with a customer name, and inside this we have a fields. These are the fields. These are the columns we have. So if I execute right this particular query, select query, then here you can see the details. So we have a customer ID followed by customer first name, middle name, and last name, address, and customer account number. Okay. So what I will do, I'll fetch this detail based upon the customer ID, and I wanted to show it on the screen. So for that, I the screen is ready, but variable mapping is pending. So for that, I'll be using the same column name of this particular table as a variable names. Okay, so copy this particular uh, column name and add inside the business object. Okay, so when you give a column name of a table and the variable name same, then there is no assignment required when we fetch the detail when we do a database call from the BPM. But when the columns name of a table and the variable is name is different, in that case you have to manually write a script to assign the values. So to avoid the manual assignment, I am keeping the table name columns name same as variable name. Okay, then I done with the variable addition. You see, I have added customer name, first name, middle name, last name, and address details. Okay, done. So my business object is ready. So I just close this one. Here you can see for the CV, already customer info is mapped. Then now I need to map one by one to CV. So for customer ID, so I'll go to general information and business object and customer ID is mapped. And again, similarly, I'll go to customer info, then customer first name is mapped. And I'll go back, customer detail and middle name is mapped. And again, go to last name in the general, um, then go to variable name and select it. So customer number, account number, then I go back and customer account number will map and address detail. So customer detail and address detail is mapped. Okay. So our CV is ready. Okay, so we need to place this CV into the coach. Okay, for that I just close the CV. So our particular client side human services customer details CHS that is opened. So I'll go to coach. I open here. Then delete this OK button. Uh, go to your user interface. So I have created customer info CV, drag and drop. So now the CVs got added to the coach. Okay. So, but if you see here, there is no mapping is added. But our CV is expecting customer info as a mapping. For that, I need to create a variables now. So go to private variable. So create customer info as a variable type variable, and again it is the type of customer info view. Okay, this is done. So mapping is done. Okay, now the variable is ready, so I need to go and map it. Okay, just select the CV, then binding. In the general we will be having binding customer info is mapped. Okay, Now this mapping is done, but our motto is, so on click of this get details, um, so I need to do a database call. For that, I need to create a service, so where it will take customer detail as an input, and based upon the customer ID, so database call done, and it will return the database data as in written. So for that, I'll create a service flow. So I name it as service flow customer get customer info. Yes, sir. Okay. Uh, info DB. So it's a database call. I created it. So here, first thing, uh, so we will, whenever we are doing a database call, so the three steps we have to mandatorily we need to follow. First thing, we will be setting a SQL query, and then we will be setting a parameters. Then we will be calling a database. We will be executing that statement, SQL statement, and then at the finally we'll be parsing it. These are the steps we are following it. So for that, to set up a SQL query, I'll add a script here. So I name it as SQL query. Okay. Then I'll be doing a execution, database execution. So I'll name it as SQL execute statement. Next step. Then third step is a parsing. What are the result we will get it? So that we need to parse it. So for that, parse results. Okay, these are the three steps we will be following it. So first thing, as part of first step, we need to set up the query. For that, we need a variable here. So again, I'll take a customer info as a in. So and again, it is a type of customer info type. Okay, and similar business object. And also we'll be getting after the post the database call, we'll be sending customer info as output. That's the reason I taken as the output and mapped that. So now to set up this SQL query, so we have to form the SQL statements. So for that, we have a variable called SQL. I'll take a variable with the SQL statement. Right? So for this SQL statement, so we have to bind a SQL statement business object. Okay, if you see SQL statement object, business object. This is actually a business object. By default will be available under the toolkit called system data. So under system data, if you go data, here SQL statement variable will be available. So no need to create anything. So same thing, variable we will be using from the system data toolkit. Okay. Then go back here. First thing we need to initialize the SQL statement. Yeah. Okay. SQL statement. It is a it's a single statement, SQL statement I'll be executing. That's the reason it is not the type of list. Okay, then next one, I'll be writing a SQL statement um, dot SQL. Okay, here we will be writing a query. Okay, so next one we have to pass the parameter. So where conditions we need to pass it. So for that parameters, it's a type of list. Okay, it's a parameter type of list. So initialize it the list. In that again, in where condition I'll be passing a customer ID. So for that it will be only one parameter for this. So zeroth element I'll be initializing it. Okay, then next one I need to set the value for that. So parameters of zeroth element dot value. Okay, then dot value will be so local dot customer info dot customer ID. Okay, so customer ID I'll be passing as input value. In the where condition I'll be passing. That's the reason a value is mapped. So then we need to specify the type now. Okay, type. So type it's a varchar type because in the table in the database table, so I specified a customer ID parameter as a uh, parameter as variable. Okay, that. So now post this one. So we have to execute the statement. For that, so I'll go here, go to implementation, select link process. Okay, it's a link service. So again, to execute the statement, uh, again we have a service connect integration service called SQL execute statement. Okay, so this service we will use whenever we are executing a single statement. But when you go for a multiple queries, like you want to perform a multiple query execution, then you have to go for SQL execute multiple statement. So as this demonstration or development, only one single query will be executing it. That's the reason I'll go and select SQL execute statement. Okay. Then after once I select it here, if you go for data mapping, so you have to map the variables. So for that SQL statement dot SQL. So then parameter I need to map it under the SQL dot parameters. Then return type we need to specify it. Okay, return type. So return type will be a same as the customer info PO. So I'm expecting the customer info PO as the return type. Then I'll map it as customer info PO. Okay. So here in the double quote, I need to specify the type of business object. And final one, so we have to specify the data source. So for the data source, we will be configure this data source in the VAS console. So um, I'll just get the data source and paste it here. Okay. So for that, I need to log to the VAS console. Under the VAS console, we will be having a resources. Under the resources, JDBC and data source. Okay, so under the data source, I mapped it as JDBC dot common BPM. So this is the data source I'll be using for the data integration. I'll copy it and paste it here. Okay, so this is actually a data source integration between BPM with SQL server. Okay, then this is done. So then we have to map the results. So to result mapping, so again I'll create a private variable with the results. Go to variables and create a private variable of results. So always whenever we are querying a select query, so that list the result will get in the form of list. So that's the reason I select as list. And again it's a type, whatever we are expecting is customer info view. So this is what we are expecting it. Okay. So now I'll go and map the results. Once the result is done, so once based upon the result we get it here, so we have to parse it, our data. So parse it to our business object. So to do that, so I'll be checking the result length tw dot local dot result dot list length greater than 0. Then I'll assign the data to customer info. Okay. So as we are taking customer info as output, so we have to assign the values to customer info. So tw dot local dot. So always we will be getting a only one result in this scenario. So which is zeroth element. So because for one customer, one customer ID, one result will be written. So that's the reason always it's a zeroth element we will be getting as a return. So that's the reason zeroth element I'm assigning to the customer info. Okay. Then once it is done, so let's test this service. So for that, I'll I'll go to variables and I'll hard code some data. So I'll get one of the sample customer ID from the database. So we have this customer ID 3444. Okay, the customer ID. Then here, okay. In the SQL query, so we have to write the query here. So we are not um, um, added the query. So I'll go to the database and get this particular query. Select start from customer table. uh, where customer ID is equal to 334, this ID. But so this customer ID will be dynamically will be inputting it. So for that, uh, it's a zero parameter for us. So that's the reason. Okay. So here the customer ID, so it's hard coded, but for us we will be dynamically will be taking an input to the service. So and we'll be passing that parameter as a zero parameters for this SQL query. So that's the reason I'll replace with question mark. Okay, so let's test it. I have hard coded already. So step, then execute. So here, if you see once execution, the result is written zeroth element. Then this data result we need to copy to the customer info. If you see customer info is blank. So in the last step, in the past result, the data is copied to customer details. Okay. So this service is working now. So let's integrate this particular service to the coach. Um, so again, quickly I'll shift to the client side human service, which is uh, customer detail CHS. Okay, this our service. So here, if you see, our already our CVs got added, which is customer detail. So I name this coach as customer info. Okay. So now on click of the get detail button on the screen, this based upon this get detail button, I need to call the database. For that, I need to add the service is get customer info DB. Okay, I have added here. Then I don't need end here. So I will connect a sequence flow from here to database from here to the same coach. Okay. So here by default this get detail button is mapped, but to in some cases scenario you have to manually map it. Select the sequence flow, select here, then uh, go and select this button, then finish. So then the on click of this button, the service will be called, database call will happen. Then the result with the result it returned to the coach. That is what expected. So now once I have added, I need to do a variable mapping. So same again, customer info I need to take. I'll be taking as input. Same customer info I'll be taking as output. Okay. So now what happens? The if I run this one, the screen will get loaded. So it will take customer ID as input and go and hit the database, get the detail and return to the coach. Okay, just run this particular screen. So if you see the screen will looks like this. Here I'll be entering some detail, customer ID, and get the detail. If you see, nothing is returning because this whatever the customer ID I have entered is not available in the database. Okay, so if you see, nothing is available. So now I'll take one of the customer ID from the database. I'll go back to the screen, then I'll enter. Okay, if I click here, get details. So here see, you can see the data is getting auto-filled. Okay, so that is nothing but so it's hitting the database and getting the detail and populating here. Okay, similar way, if I change the customer number to 344, okay, see the details are got changed from it changed to Mike and Martin and KP. Okay, so this is how we will integrate BPM with the SQL database. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.